Hi, I'm Diana Bolander. I'm the Assistant Director / Curator here at the Rahr-West Art Museum in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. We're very excited right now to have the Portrait of Manitowoc project. It's a collaboration with portrait artist Sonia Vasquez. And the idea is that everyone can create a self-portrait of themselves, think about themselves, what it means, what they want to project about themselves, the opportunity for everyone to be represented when they came into the museum. And one of the things that Sonia is doing is she's doing portraits of community members that are particularly underrepresented in museum collections. And she's also interviewing them, asking them about their identity in relation to Manitowoc. So we've also asked all the community participants to talk about their identity on the back of the portraits. So when you go through the exhibit, you can see all these faces of people who live in Manitowoc in 2020 and 2021 and how they see themselves, which is really great. It's almost like a little time capsule that we'll be able to look back on years from now and figure out and think about what it meant to be a citizen of Manitowoc. Sonia Vasquez is an extremely talented portrait artist, and she's working in a really traditional oil paint tradition that goes back hundreds and hundreds of years. She's using this traditional method of painting to represent all these people who haven't traditionally been represented. And I think there are a lot of artists around the world right now working on these different ideas and themes, and it's amazing and wonderful that we have someone right here in Manitowoc working on this issue as well.
I am Sonia Vasquez, and I am the artist in residence at the Rahr-West Art Museum and created the portraits for this exhibit. The Rahr-West has been absolutely wonderful to work with. They approached me with this, asking to do a collaboration with the community, do art with the community. I think it's just such a value to have in our community. Not every community has an art museum, and especially not an art museum that's, as great as this one is.
And we have her painting live in the gallery for part of the residency.
This project is super important to me because it's about representation. And the way that we're showing representation of the community, Manitowoc, is through a diverse selection that I've chosen of people from Manitowoc that I'm painting in, and that will translate then to the paintings on exhibit alongside the community portraits. So we're asking the community to also contribute their own self-portraits and answer the question on the back, how do you feel about your identity in relation to Manitowoc?
The feedback that we've gotten for this project has been pretty phenomenal. One of the most powerful things is to see kids especially come into the museum, see the portrait they did, and get really excited. And it's also been amazing to see people come in off the street, look around. They might not have participated in the project, but they know these people. These are their neighbors and even sometimes their family members. And I think there's such power in that representation, in coming in and seeing someone you know and love, or even yourself in the museum. This is art. This is a worthy story that we're telling here.
Hi, I'm Carrie Estrella, and this is my family.
Hi, my name is Jose.
My name is Kateri.
My name is Denzel.
My name is Alexander.
I'm a member of the board of directors here at the Rahr and a member of the Public Arts Committee, so I immediately wanted to introduce my family to this project and have us all participate as a family project.
Well, I have never been on board with much of has to do with participating or being part of a project where I have to be singled out. But since it is a family effort, I had to cave in.
What I liked about it the most actually was I let each person decide how they wanted to do the art. So each of our different portraits were done in a different way with a different inspiration.
For me, I just went straight onto the paper, but I did have to erase a lot of things, and I did use most of the time a ruler to help me with more of the straight lines that I needed.
Yeah, I did mine as a pencil sketch, and I didn't do it directly of what I looked like because I felt that if you just do it what you look like, that doesn't really define who you are. Like, it definitely can, but the way I approached it is more, who did I feel I was personally?
For me, I can tell you, I did a collage, so I had to think back what built my identity here in Manitowoc. I think it's a great way to look at our whole collage as a community as well, because we are very diverse even though we're a small town. Why did you choose Picasso?
Well, because I wanted to be more creative than I normally am.
Did you like your drawing after you finished
Yes, I did like my drawing.
it? Good.
As for the description of what I did was based on my journey coming here from Mexico and what I have lived through till this point.
One of the really interesting things for me to see as someone with a museum background and an art background is the really diversity of media that people have chosen to use. We did ask people to use this provided paper that's 4 by 6 inches so that we could put them in these grids and present them in this way. But it's really amazing to see, even though we had to make it flat, all the different ways that people have expressed themselves. There's people who have used collage, newspapers, magazines, people who have used watercolor, oil paint. It's really great, the styles. Some are very realistic and some are completely abstract. And it's just really great to see how people went through the process of thinking about, okay, who am I in Manitowoc, and how do I want to portray that through this very small, tiny little piece of artwork. The Rahr-West Art Museum is actually a department of the City of Manitowoc. So for us, we're an art museum, but we're also sort of a community art center. And one of our goals is to bring people together around art.
Hi, I'm Justin Nichols, Mayor of the City of Manitowoc, here at the Rahr-West Art Museum. Here today for the Portrait of Manitowoc exhibit to showcase what Manitowoc is. And when you look around and you see the diversity, you see the colors, you see the excitement in people's faces. It's really neat to see that this is what Manitowoc truly is. These are the people of Manitowoc. You know, art is what you make it, and what you feel, and what you think. It doesn't have to be what you see in a coloring book. You know, color outside the lines. Don't do everything just because it's always been done that way.
We've had several of the schools participate. The Lincoln High School art teachers have had some of their students participate.
Hi, I'm Samantha DEELEY, and I'm an art teacher up at Lincoln High School. And I had some of my students, along with some of Mr. Dorn's students, who's another art teacher up at Lincoln High School, participate in the Portrait of Manitowoc project because we thought it was really important for our students to be represented in the community. I think our students oftentimes think that their art needs to be pursued a certain way in order to be appreciated, and there is no wrong answer when making artwork. And with this project in particular, the fact that they get to choose how to represent themselves, I can't remember ever seeing an art project that was open for the entire community to participate. It's fantastic because when you come in here and see all of the portraits put together, it's beautiful because everyone is able to represent themselves in such a different way, and seeing it collectively as a whole gives you a certain feeling like, I wonder what each person was feeling, and each person had a different thought and process to draw all of these portraits.
I think this shows you how even in a small community such as Manitowoc, you can find a lot of diversity. And by coming here and looking at these portraits and learning the stories of the people who made them, you can feel compelled to write your own story and create your own art, display who you are to the community so they can learn more about yourself.
Coming here, there were some of the stories that I could connect with that I didn't realize anyone else had kind of experienced the same kind of thing. So to just read that and realize how similar some lives can be that you don't even know, it was just really cool.
I am just really excited at the fact that we have so many. I really wanted this to be a huge thing. I wanted as many people as possible to contribute, because then that gives an even better picture of what Manitowoc is. It becomes a portrait of Manitowoc. I'm super thankful for everybody that's participated, and especially for the people that have allowed me to record them. So I recorded every person that I painted and had them kind of tell me how they felt about their identity in relation to Manitowoc. And I think it's really great to be able to hear that as you're kind of walking around the space.
I would tell people that they'll be surprised. They'll be surprised about who lives here. They'll be surprised about how the people have defined their identity. There's a lot of honesty and truth and authenticity with this exhibit. So I would encourage people to come and to learn and to grow from it.
Yeah, and I'd agree. I mean, I'm seeing people that I don't really know well, but I'm getting a glimpse at who they are. And when you don't really know someone, but you just get a glimpse, it just makes you realize who is in your community and helps you kind of connect with those people just a little bit more.
The Rahr-West Art Museum is an invaluable resource to the community.
The funding for this project came from an ArtsBridge grant that they put out in relation to COVID. And ArtsBridge is an organization that has a collection of American art, and they're really into getting it into different communities around the United States that might not have access to that sort of resource. And a project like this can only be successful if the community buys into it and participates. So it's really important for us as an institution to not just thank ArtsBridges for the funding, but to thank Sonia for all her great ideas and organizing the project, and to thank everyone for participating and creating work and being vulnerable and sharing things about yourself and your life that you might not usually put out there in public. But I think it really is very telling. The stories that we take away from this is really positive and wonderful.